I had the privilege of experiencing Nepal's education system versus an international system. I did international baccalaureate, and comparing those two systems, I feel like one of the key missing points inside the Nepali education system is critical thinking. We're not pushed to really question, rather than we're pushed to memorize a lot of stuff. That's what I feel about my education system. And coming towards, yes, like, so a lot of people want to go abroad when it comes to after their SLC or after 12th grade. I think that's because also a point would be FOMO. So a lot of people can't literally bear the idea of staying in Nepal and being educated here. Not only it's more of linked to a sense of identity and FOMO rather than them questioning the education system, in my opinion. But I feel like our government could have done a bit better in terms of the soft influence that we have. Because, for example, for me or a lot of my friends, we heavily rely on the Western cultures. Let's suppose Netflix. Our consumption is based on the Western media. So when it comes to those educational systems, we are more prone to go there, because we see the literal sense that we see in Nepal is frustration in terms of where we go, the government offices. I think that's where kind of frustration lies, and it's somehow miscalculated in a way where our pride or our sense of love to our country dissolves. That's how I feel.
That's okay. I mean, like you, I have been to international education system. I'm educated at least in a couple of those great institutions. But that should not minimize your sense of responsibility to the country. Government system, okay. It is very easy in democracy. So if even today, even we are saying we are holding elections, it is so simple. I don't see your generation, Gen Z generation, asking among the parties, whoever it is, okay, we will vote only if this sort of candidates are filled. I've said 200 times in my interview, let's say, at least to be a member of parliament, you have to be a graduate. To be a minister, you should at least be a master's degree holder. And the contemporary knowledge he or she should possess. It may not be a foolproof thing, but the training, you have gone through a training, the 4-year bachelor's degree teaches you something. And try to link to with your discipline. So these are the kind of debates we are not doing here. There are other aspects which I will come back to you, but if you have done a bachelor's degree from a good university, you are not inclined to join the public service. If you're a master's degree holder from a good, well-ranked university, you are not likely to join as a teacher. Yes, that is where we need to see the change. We need to work to change for adequate pay. I'll come back to it, but our economy is capable of doing that. Just the system is failing. We are not poor by any standards. We have load of resources. We are paying indirectly. Our education, our system is paying indirectly. Only for the education, we are spending about $4 billion to import education. So think of investing that $4 billion in the country and improving the education system. That will generate employment as well. So it is only about the system. It is like your ability as a planner, as an economist, as a thinker, to put money from this pocket to this pocket within the economy, to mobilize those resources. So that is where we lacked. Uh, so I very often say we have got the policy cycle, policy versus political cycle, and there is another prosperity cycle. Our entire discourse today is focused on the policy cycle. Will there be election? Will there be new law? Will there be new constitution? Will there be this law? Will this political party will win? It is only about the process and the policy circle we are talking about. That you may have 20 more election. We already have 7 constitution change in how many years? Since 2051. In 75 years or so. In entire debate, if you watch the television debate, podcast, everybody is talking all bullshit without entering into the necessity of entering into the discourse of prosperity cycle. And we are dismissing this very important aspect of it. Every day you read the news, one kind of a catchword you'll find is we'll have a progressive socialism, absolute socialism, democratic socialism, this socialism. What does that mean? Nobody has defined it. You are into it. And okay, you have a manifesto, you have election, you have law, you have constitution, you have parliament, you have cabinet. That is not going to change this level of frustration. So you very emphatically, very dedicatively enter into the prosperity cycle debate at least. Not action will come later. But let's enter into the very objective kind of prosperity cycle debate. What is the prosperity cycle? Fundamentally, do you have economic resources? If not, can you generate economic resources? For what? Second point is investment in the cycle. Okay, when you invest, you enter into the phase of manufacturing from production. It is not the token thing you produce. You into the economies of scale with manufacturing. That's the third. When you enter into the manufacturing, that does 2 things simultaneously. You have the goods and commodities produced, service produced. When you are in the expanded service and goods manufacturing area, you generate employment. Okay? And when you generate employment, the people's lifestyle improves. Hope improves. And again, when there is earning, then you come back to the resource management and the cycle gets completed. And then there has to be, if you think of these 2 cycles, then you should be able to link. Is your constitution friendly to generate these resources? Okay? Is your law making favorable to this manufacturing process or employment generation process? Okay? Is your parliament debating these issues very vehemently? Are those parliamentarians capable of discussing these things? And is the system you created, you call it, yesterday you call it panchayat, then you call it a multi-party system, then you call it the federal system, is it contributing to facilitate, to grease, to run this prosperity cycle? Even today, I am thoroughly disappointed. Nobody is willing to enter into this prosperity cycle debate. But if you look at this Gen Z revolution, they said we want corruption-free system. We want employment. We want education here. What are they asking? Are they asking this policy or political cycle to run or economic cycle to run? This prosperity cycle to run. It is obviously the prosperity cycle. If your economy is highly productive, corruption is secondary. In Japan, in every 2 years, a government collapses on the corruption allegations. But Japan can sustain that because there is so much of productivity going on. So little money the politician takes is a very small compared to the size of the national economy.
Mm.
And when they are found guilty, they go away. They don't get elected here again.
Ah.
So the major thing is the production and productivity of services and goods. That will create a virtuous cycle, normally people say, but I have said it prosperity cycle. So if even today, the Gen Z frustration, the frustration of general people is not going to be solved by another election. If you're not putting conditions that no one without bachelor's degree is allowed to enter into the parliament, who will not elect it, nobody should be minister without master's degree. And when there are number of master's degree holders in different disciplines, definitely a better qualified person will head the ministry. And if you not enter into the debate of the prosperity cycles, you may throw this. I hear a lot of debate. Should we continue with this constitution? Does not matter. Does not matter. It is not the constitution that start production. It is this system it should start. Fortunately, Nepal has a tremendous lot of resources. That is where the ideology comes. If you look at something that is working in Nepal, what is working? There is a quite substantial amount of electricity production. Okay, we reached to 4,000 megawatts of energy, hydropower, clean energy. 80% of it is produced through private sector investment. Go to the banking, the access to finance. We are boasting that all of our 753 municipalities and rural municipalities now have at least one commercial bank branch. But look at how has it been possible? Is again 80-85% of the banking system
Private.
Is investment by the private sector.
Yeah.
Look at the domestic aviation. 95% of the service in the domestic aviation is provided by the private sector. Education. I belong to Kathmandu University. 50% of the medical professionals are produced by Kathmandu University entirely through our 11 medical colleges. And you are minimizing the role of private sector. Okay. I can give you a dozen of those sectors where only because of the very short window of a policy change between 1990 and 1994 made it possible to unlock the private sector investment in the economy, and once it started, there is no going back. That helped to sustain the 10-year-long civil war. This long kind of sort of political instability, because that continued to grease the economy.